If you can't go left, you can always try right. If you can't go right, you can always try forward. But no matter what you do, we'll always create a memory because you are special.
All right. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay. Welcome to RBV, the Milestone Whisperers, where we discuss milestones and the journeys to get to them. I'm Dr. Rashida, your host, and today I have a really special guest, Alyssa Wolf. Hi, Alyssa. How are you?
Good. How are you, Rashida?
Good. So, Alyssa is from Your Unbusy Life, right? Your coaching business.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm really excited about this topic because I'm a busy working mom and I'm trying to do like the entrepreneurship and work from home and work outside of home. So I'm really excited about how much value you're going to bring to this conversation. So can you tell me a little bit about why you started your Unbusy Life? I know you're a mom of 5.
Yes. Well, I always wanted to do something like in addition to family, but
Mhm.
I had told myself I will never be an entrepreneur, not doing side hustles, except I was like, where is this purpose if it's not coming from the college career? Because that didn't really pan out for me. So I just went,
Mhm.
okay, plan B, let's start having some kids. This will come in time, surely. Well, I have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, still wondering where the purpose is, 4 kids, 5 kids. Then I finally heard a podcaster talking about online business, like, I could help other people from home with all the kids still around, keep
Mhm.
homeschooling them. Oh, goody, goody. So what can I do to help people? It's like, okay, the time, productivity, organizing, being unstressed. Yes, this is what I can do. Either now or I can wait 17 years till the 6-month-old graduates from high school. I think I'd rather start now.
Yes, yes, because even though it seems like years go by fast, but when you're going through it, it goes by so slow and it's like, I gotta figure it out. So I love that. So when did you first decide that this is what you want to help people to do?
Well, I gave myself a month to like sit and think about it. So that was over
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago. I was like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be something to do with time and productivity, I think. Okay, well, we'll
Mm-hmm.
just start heading in that direction, start blogging and
Mm-hmm.
podcasting, and see how long I can talk about it. But I never run out.
Oh, I love that. So, I know that you homeschool your children. Now, how does that fit into your work from home journey? Because I know during the pandemic, when my kids were home, well, home, it was kind of like homeschooling, but they were on school. And I had to manage like my workload because I'm a physical therapist and I did telehealth. I was so glad when it was time for them to go back to school. So how did you manage to, like, jump into it without just, like, going nuts, literally nuts?
Yes, I had to set up all those specific roles from the get go since I
Mhm,
started the business after I had all the kids and all the homeschooling going on. So, what
mhm,
I ended up doing was saying, all right, there is no multitasking. It is either going to be school time or it's going to be business time. It's not going to
mhm.
work having them together, especially with those really little kids. There's no keep
Yeah.
quiet, mommy's on a Zoom call. Like, just avoid that hassle altogether. So I could work
Mhm.
before they got up, I could work during their nap time, and I could work during the evening, but frankly, I'm out of energy then, so I crossed that one off.
Right? I love that. It is so funny that you mentioned that, because I actually emailed you this morning and they sent back like, this is family time. It's Friday. I'm not going to respond to Monday. And I think that's a beautiful thing to do, to have those boundaries and to really like, no, this is the time that's designated for this. This is the time that's designated for that. How do you help those moms like me that I'm pretty still lost with that?
Mostly, I go through and I get a really specific look at how much you're doing during the day and the week,
Mhm.
both on the home side and on the business side, and then I start cutting all kinds of things from your task list. And maybe you haven't even written them down. Maybe they're just like mental pressures and I should get to
Mhm.
this and this, but there's so much that you don't actually have to be doing. Maybe it's you could delegate, you could outsource, you could skip it, you could train some of your kids to do it. Maybe you should say, I'm just not doing that this school year. Like, there's all kinds of ways to get it off of your plate right now without saying, no one will ever handle, shower scrubbing again. You're not saying that. You're just saying,
Mhm.
I'm not going to clean the showers, right? Or I am not editing my newsletters in Kit. It's not that it isn't
Mhm.
happening. It's just that you
Mhm.
specifically don't have to do it. If we can get enough of that stuff off your plate, then you have the time back in your day to either not rush from thing to thing, maybe throw in some more quality kid time, take the hobby time, like whatever else would give you enough time during the day you don't feel stressed and frazzled. You're like, okay, this feels good. I can slow down. I can hear myself think. Like we keep cutting till we get to that point.
Mhm. That is awesome because, as moms, we often have like a full plate and it's just overflowing. You still put more stuff and more stuff piling on your plate. So I love the idea of like outsourcing and also just accepting help. Um, One thing that I did during the pandemic was I got cleaners for the house. And it was an expense that really paid for itself because it gave me peace of mind to um not have to worry about the deep cleaning. So how do you help those families those women that's it's kind of tough for them to turn over some control? Um, because it's like no one could clean your house like you, or no one can fold the laundry like you. How do you kind of help ease them into it? Do you have like a way to prioritize those things?
Yes, we can look at it based on your emotional response to that task. If you're just like, I hate doing this, but no one else does it as well as me, I want you to get those
Mhm.
top frustrations off of your day because you will be a much happier mom and entrepreneur without them. If you're just kind of in,
Mhm.
I could give this to someone else, but I could do it. I do it better. Like that's the second tier. I'm going to
Mhm.
ignore those for the time being. Like, first, we need to get all the stuff you dislike doing out of the
Mhm.
way for. And then beyond that, it's kind of a case of, well, I understand you like control, you want to hold on to it, but there's only so much I can cut if you call everything a sacred cow, right? So
Yeah.
it's that old, okay, which do you want more? Your choice is going to tell me what you actually prioritize, getting that
Uh-huh.
free space in your schedule or holding on to the exact right way your laundry is folded. Like, I can't go
Uh-huh.
to your house and force you to do this or not do
Right,
this.
right, right, right. Yes, that's important. I see that like even in physical therapy where like a parent, because I work in early intervention, so I'm
Mhm.
like coaching parents to help their child get to whatever goals they want to work on. But sometimes it could be challenging because they're like, "Well, I don't have time to take them for a walk," or "I don't have time to do this." Do you want them to get better? Do you want them to learn how to run outside and climb playground equipment? Well, those dishes would be there, or someone
Mhm.
else could do the dishes. So it's definitely something that I do in my practice, and I'm trying to learn how to practice what I preach as well. So, like you
Mhm.
said, like some things you have to flip a coin. Which one do you want? Do you want to have that control, or do you want to have like peace of mind of now I could cuddle with my kids or I could support my kids in something else? Because the kids really do take in and observe what you're doing as a parent. And the self-care is self-care that comes along with letting go of some of that control.
Yes, and if
So
you wanna beat that
mhm,
exhausted mom stereotype for your kids, you have to show them how you can be the mom and not be exhausted, or else they're gonna be like, "Well,
mhm,
this is the only way," because that's what the culture's gonna tell them. So you have to be the
mhm.
person who shows them that it can be different.
Yes, yes. Do you ever work with like multi-generational families? So like sometimes like maybe a mom who's like about to be a grandmother and she wants to like instill some of these practices within their daughter that may be about to become a mom. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, I have had
Mhm.
one client who was in that case, she was a grandmother. And, I
Mhm.
mean, the specifics change because the stage of life, but it says underlying principles are the same of Okay,
Mhm.
you can model this for your daughter who's about to be the mom. You can tell her, hey, you need to build some free time into your own day. Yes, I know you're about to have a newborn, but still, like, let me come
Mhm.
and help. If you, as the
Yes.
about to be grandmother, don't have the margin to come over and help, but that's really the kind of lifestyle you wanted for your daughter, is knowing she can just call her mom up at the drop of the hat, that we need to seriously look at your own life and schedule, because now you've just said, I really want to be available for my new grandbaby and
Mhm.
supporting my daughter this way. What do I have to do, even though I feel like I should be beyond this? Like, I've managed to fill up my time somehow with all sorts of fun,
Mhm.
retiree or late career things. And now
Yeah.
I have to pull back again because it's like a new family rise that I have to have space for. So, yeah, specifics definitely. Because when you're
Mhm.
saying I need to go travel to see the grandkid, that's a little different than they're right here with me in my house.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it's the same principles are all going to work.
Yeah. And I think that's an important point too, because I know, like, in my mom's season of life, she just thrives off of like spending time with her grandkids. And it's like, I didn't see that example with her when she was like raising us, because it seemed like her plate was just overflowing all the time. And she's like just learning from her, like she's helping to take some of the load off of me. So that way she could spend that time with her grandchildren, but I could also be that mom where I prioritize and I accept help from my mom,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
so it's kind of like multifold, but it's really nice to hear that you had a client like that. Now I'm starting to see a lot more families do homeschooling. So how do you work with like your children and making sure that they are doing their school work while still balancing like your job? How do you do that?
Well, as I said, I've got those like time buckets during the day. So if that's helpful to
Mhm.
think about it, it's, the work time bucket. And then when the kids get up, depending on how old your kids are, you can have them fairly autonomous. Okay, I want you to get up. I want you to pour your bowl of cereal. I want you to put your dishes
Mhm.
back in the dishwasher. I want you to go brush your
Mhm.
teeth. Come bring
Mhm.
out your school books. If they're a lot younger, then you have to guide a lot of that. So you've got to quit the work sooner. So you can sit there and kind of manage their way through breakfast and morning
Mhm.
chores and stuff, and teaching them the subjects. And when they're older, so say middle school and on, you can pretty much say, hey, you start your thing. I'm going to be
Mhm.
checking in on you if you haven't dropped your subject back with me for grading by the expected time, or you haven't asked me for any help. But
Mhm.
I can kind of co work with you. You're over here, maybe you're on your school laptop kind of thing, and I'm over here on mine. So you can
Mhm.
actually technically multitask when your kids are old. But if they're young
Ye
or young elementary, like, no, just don't.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. When during the pandemic, I had my oldest was, I believe, in 4th grade, and so I only have 3. But I had a second no, a 1st grader, a 4th grader, actually a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, and my daughter was 4. So
Mhm.
she came out of daycare to be home. So that was the one, because she was used to being able to play freely, and she had like this whole daycare schedule, and she was so demanding of my time that people like my clients that I would do on Zoom, they knew exactly who she was, because I would
Yeah,
just have to bring her into sessions. And it was like and they understood, because it's like I'm
they're in the
working,
same
but I'm
boat.
also a mom, and we were all in the same boat. And as she's getting, oh, she's 10 now, but like they really do understand when they for the most part, they understand like that separation of like, sometimes I gotta figure this out by myself. Like I have to take control of my schoolwork, and I have to do my work and not just bother mommy about every single thing, because mommy is working right now. Um, which is an ongoing process. But sometimes the other day, it was funny because after I finished work, my daughter wanted to go to the pool. She wanted to go to our gym and go to the pool. And I was tired because I had a long day and it was like a thunderstorm, and I took her because I didn't want her to feel like, "Oh, mommy just works, 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 and doesn't have time for me." So how do you incorporate those things into that age group, which they really do still wants mommy time, but they have that autonomy where they have to do a little bit of things on their own. They're not quite teenagers yet, but they still need mommy time to do stuff. So how do
I
you make them feel like they are still included or not ignored?
Yes, I like to build the mommy time straight into the homeschooling off the back of it.
Mhm.
So it's kind of the reward motivation. You
Mhm.
get your schoolwork done independently in the appropriate grades, and then we are going to
Mhm.
go do this together. And so I have
Mhm.
enough time blocked off that the work and the clients don't start till both of those things happen. I mean, if they don't get it done, then it might be, oh, I'm so sorry. You were not, did you not understand the lesson properly? Were you just blowing it off? Remember, you can always come ask me for some help. But that way, they're getting that time multiple times a week since I have it set every single day. So
Mhm.
if they didn't make it twice, 3 out of 5 times having the quality time with that kid, sure, that's good. And then that's happening for like all these different kids. Or
Mhm.
like with the teenagers, maybe it's more like, here's a weekend thing. Let's hang out. Let's, go shopping. Let's chat while we're doing it. So it's not exactly within the work week, but it's still in the overall schedule in the master plan of the week for me.
Mhm. That's cool. That's really nice to incorporate it in there. Do you find that your children kind of expect it now? So they're like, "Oh, I'm not expected, but they look forward to it, I should say." Like,
Very much so. Like they'll
mhm.
mention, oh, I've just got one more thing to do. And then we're playing the card game. Or
Yes.
I'm doing this ahead because I want to make sure I can go out with you on Friday.
Yes. That is so cool. And it's just setting them up to be responsible young adults, to prioritize what you really do have to get done. And then,
Mhm.
you could play and you could do, work first, play later, but still having that balance. Um, Now for those parents that have that don't homeschool, so they don't get to spend like that time within the day with their children, how do you help along with that? Because I know your coaching program is tailored per situation. So how do you help with things with those families in those situations?
In that case, you have a different thing. The pro for you is your kids aren't around during the day, so you can have this deeper focus time. The
Mhm.
con, of course, is that you might use up all your energy working with your clients, or you might be tempted to. So for those moms, I try to tell them bring the self care portion into the part of the day when your kids aren't home. It's like, don't push everything off into the evening the way that some of us with the kids around 24/7 might have to. So you go have some great
Mhm.
work time, take your lunch, go to yoga class, whatever it is, see your clients again, and then make sure you have given yourself some of that free time, like at least an hour before the kids come home off the school bus or you go to pick them up, so that your cup is full enough, you have enough energy to go and do something with them instead of being like, well, it was great. It was quiet. I focused on work. I saw tons of clients and now you're back and I'm just low. So we don't want that to
Yeah.
happen either. But
Yeah.
when you're the solopreneur, you can tweak your schedule. Like you can have the midday yoga class. You can have the I'm
Mhm.
off for a solo walk with the dog. Whatever you
Mhm.
want, you just bump it earlier in the day, even if other people are like, but it's working hours. Well, not for you, it isn't. You have the second
Mhm.
shift you're showing up for.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. And it's so cool to be able to have that freedom to make your schedule like that. It's just like, I could go take a yoga class in the middle of the day before everyone else gets off work and
Hmm.
they, is overcrowded and, you could really exhale. So that's a beautiful feeling. And it's definitely, like you said, it's self-care. And doing that, I don't get the chance to do that a lot, but I feel better when the kids come home. I just feel like, "Oh, you get me,"
Yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
like I've devoted, time to myself already, and then I already worked and all that. So that's really nice that's how you help people. Um, Let me see. I did have a couple other questions. Yeah, I did want to ask about the mom guilt thing. um, because that's something that me, a lot of my family members, even the moms that I work with, struggle with. And it's tough because you want to be just this perfect mom and this perfect whatever job that you have. You want to be able to do everything. And sometimes we do get hung up on the fact that maybe we didn't finish everything on our list for that day, or we slacked our children for that day. So how do you approach that with helping these moms that experience that mom guilt? How to overcome that?
Yeah, well, two ways. One, attacking it from the front, one coming from behind. So
Mhm.
the one coming from behind is to say, this might be permanent. You might never get rid of mom guilt. You can choose what the guilt is about. So is the
Mhm.
guilt that you never did something with your talents? Is the guilt that you always ignored your kids? Is the guilt that you didn't make the homemade birthday cake and decorations? Like
Mhm.
prioritize.
Mhm.
Or you can go from the front and say, is the guilt because I have put so many things into my week, I cannot physically get to them all, so I'm always beating up on myself for it? In other words, do I need to delete stuff and then I won't feel guilty because it just won't be an issue?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that list doesn't need to be that long, long list. That's good. So what kind of resources do you have on your website and in your coaching business to help kind of streamline some things that families could do? I know I'm a visual person, so I'm like, I make lists. I still have a paper schedule. I don't even like I have a calendar, obviously, but I still write it on like a paper schedule. I'm like Generation X, so but late Generation X. I'm like almost a millennial, but not quite. But how do you help these families, these moms kind of start to get organized? Do you have like what kind of resources do you have for them?
Well, before we even get with the organizing, I find it helps to have a clear view of what your actual problem is. Just
Mhm.
like the mom guilt problem can sometimes be you have too much you're trying to handle. So
Mhm.
I do a couple things. One is the human design time audit. So if you're going, I've got this like top problem as a work from home mom, I don't
Mhm.
understand what it is, and I'm sick and tired of generic productivity advice. I'm going to take a look at your human design chart and the symptoms you're describing, and then point out to you where that misalignment is. So that can be really helpful to just narrow in on your specific situation. If
Yeah.
you want to kind of zoom out a little and you're the standard busy mom who wants something in her earbuds, then I also have the Where Your Day Breaks audio series, where I'm pointing out that higher level pattern of how you keep overloading the day so that it keeps going off the rails, then you keep beating yourself up, starting the next day with too much on it. Like this just keeps repeating.
Mhm.
So I find one of those two things makes a great entry point to kind of divorce the entrepreneur from the, oh, it's just a productivity problem. I'm just not disciplined enough. Like, no, that's not actually what's going on here. You're plenty disciplined already. There's some wider patterns going on for why this keeps showing up for you as the mom.
Mhm. That is good. Yeah. Now, how can people find you? So I know you have your website, your unbusylife.com.
Life.com.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. So how can people find you? But they have the website, but how else?
Yes. If you're a podcast person, you can go to The Unbusy Mom. So search that. That's a twice a week podcast. They're really
Mhm.
short episodes, so you can pop it in, 2 or 3 minutes.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then the website has all the human design time audit, or that's another place you can get access to that Where Your Day Breaks audio series.
Mhm. That's phenomenal. I did get to listen to a couple of your podcasts. And like you said, they are like it doesn't take a lot of time to listen to them. So it's really cool to have like little spurts of time where like, okay, let me go get a little tidbit of what I could do to help get my life together,
Yeah,
and it doesn't
without
have
sitting
doesn't
down for an hour.
yeah, yeah. So that's so helpful. Um, so yeah, it's been really nice talking to you, and I'm so happy that we connected because I know we were supposed to connect a while ago. So thank you for even being willing to still work with me because I need your services, obviously.
Oh, Thank you for having me on. It was
Definitely.
my honor.
Yes, yes. So, when we put out the episode, I'll have clips. Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll tag you if that's okay. And yeah, and I would love to connect for your podcast as well. A little differently because I'm still, I would say, almost a hot mess with my management of like work and everything. But yeah, I would love to be a guest to talk about what I do too, because I think it'll be a good collaboration that way. So
Sounds
thank you
good.
for joining me today.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend.
You too.
All right. Bye.